Hello and welcome to another episode of PS Make Me Famous. Today I have Chrissy Landry with me, and she is co-founder and co-owner and founder of Top Knot Salon, which is in Inglewood. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So we met under very interesting situations.
We sure did.
Which was the inspiration for this segment, because lately I've been really into interviewing like psychic mediums and people talking about past lives and actual people who have passed away and returned from the other side, which has been insanely cool. You're going to love that episode.
Yeah. Can't wait for that one.
Pretty wild. But today we're talking about you and your healing journey and how that led you into finding Reiki to heal others.
Yeah.
So did you want to say how we met to tell the story?
Yeah. Where do I start? Well, where should I back it up
to? Wherever you want to back it up. We can back it up to like when we met and then everything that happened after.
Okay.
That feels good.
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah, so I went through a healing journey myself and wanted to take the Reiki course. So my good friend Laura knew Karina, and she took her Reiki through Karina and was like, Chrissy, you got to meet Karina. You're going to love her. I was like, yep, signing up. So I messaged Karina, and at the time she had no one else interested. And the stars just aligned at that moment, because I think then you reached out at the same time. And she's like, well, hold on a minute. I just have to see if, I have another girl interested. Because obviously you need to practice on somebody. I was like, okay. And here I was crossing my fingers that, I would be able to take the course soon. And she messaged me like that night and was like, I have another girl interested. So we're going to do this. I was like, perfect. And I mean, it was COVID, so we couldn't have a large class anyways. So the one-on-one learning was really great. And yeah, then I met you at the course, and it was instant connection, I would say. I mean, I was like, oh, it was like a sigh of relief when I met you. It's like, cool. I can do this. But yeah, that's how we met.
Mm-hmm. So Karina is a Reiki master here in Calgary, Alberta, and she also has her podcast, Divine Angel. What's it called?
Divine Messages.
I listen to it every week, and I don't
Friday.
Every Friday, and
every Friday. Yeah.
What she talks about is like insane. So if you get a chance, definitely check that out. But she was a Reiki master, and she was teaching us Reiki. And I already talked about why I kind of went for Reiki. I was feeling completely ungrounded, and I couldn't ground myself for the life of me. So really, it was a way for me to take care of myself. But I always find people who are broken or healing from something, they naturally seek out Reiki and then in turn heal themselves through healing others, right? Is that kind of...
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what light workers do. So we were in class together, and then it was like a whole day class, and then we had to heal each other, like do what we learned on each other. So I went first.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was healing you, and it was really interesting because very interesting, the whole thing about Reiki is that you're using your intuition and messages, but you're also feeling with your hands how the energy is kind of changing around the body. And when you feel that change, you kind of get a message or a visual or an audio or whatever. What is yours, visual, or what do you get?
Yeah, a bit of both, visual and audio for sure, but more visual, I would say.
Right. Did you want to talk about when I was doing the session on you?
You tell.
Okay. I'll tell the story. Yeah. Okay. So I was and I could go like full on. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go
okay.
For it.
No filter. Okay. So I was feeling her body, and I remember feeling anxiety for sure. So it was very tight here. It was like very staticky. It felt like warm and staticky. And then I was kind of working around your uterus area, and it felt very hot. And then I was working around here in your chest again, because that's where the anxiety was. So I kept kind of like staying in this area. I'm like, there's something here, there's something here. And I couldn't figure out what it was, but I was kind of drawn to a certain side. I don't even know if I was pulled to that side. I don't really remember where I was landing, but
If you were, yeah, you were right on the spot.
I
And
was
I
right on the spot.
was pounding. I was like, oh God,
I can
oh,
feel
he
your,
knows.
but I didn't know. Like I didn't know
I
because I didn't.
can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah. So my hand was there, and then I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like I don't even know you. I don't know your story because that's remember. Karina said before we have class together, don't look each other up, don't connect.
Yeah.
So we didn't do anything. It was a clean slate. So I was here feeling, and it felt like it's so weird to like express what you feel because it's so esoteric, because it's so connected to a message. So what I was feeling was a healing. Like I could feel like warmth, but it wasn't like hot, like, oh, we should address something, but it was like a very warm, I would almost say like a white light. It felt like a white light, but at the same time, here was where the heat was. And I could feel that that was like tightening and anxiety. And then your uterus was hot too. So there was like kind of like a mix of what we found out afterwards was that you want to have a baby. You wanted to have a baby for a bit, for a while now. You were having anxiety because we found out when I kind of addressed it. What did I say to you? I don't even remember what I said.
Rena was like, you were like, I don't know. And I think it was on like the tip of your tongue, right?
Yeah. Well, Karina said, I'm in your head and I can see you see it.
Yeah. She's like, just say it. Just say it. And you're like, I don't want to say it. And she's like, just do it. Like she was trying to channel through you. It was really,
it was just too awkward to be like, oh, did you or do you have breast cancer? And that's kind of where it was. It was such a hard thing for me to say. It was just like you don't say that to somebody. I'm sorry. That was but it was funny because remember Karina was telling us her first Reiki experience?
Mm-hmm.
And she was just telling us that story. Her first Reiki experience was that the lady was actually going in for surgery, but yours was not. Yours was healed. And how many days prior to us meeting did you get the diagnosis that you were actually clear?
Well, 2 days before the Reiki course, I had a scan. So that's probably why I was so anxious, because going into the course, I knew, Karina, she's like a psychic medium. I was like, I'm going to walk in her door and she's going to be like, oh, okay, and know everything, right? But yeah, no, it wasn't till the week after. So it was really interesting because you got to see me, when I was really anxious. I went for a scan. In my head, I was like, I'm good, I'm clear. But,
I think you were also afraid what I would pick up if it would be different than
I was so nervous on so much level.
Because I was like hovering. You're like, you just got your scan. Were you waiting for were you waiting for results?
Yes, I was waiting for results. Plus I was so anxious. And
Stop.
Then I was like, well, I wonder if they can tell me.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know. I thought you already got the results.
No, the week after, because it was like a back-to-back Saturday. And so then I got my results the next week. And then our class was I got my results on a Thursday, I was all clear. And on the Saturday I had my course. I was like, well, I'll just wait till I'm on the table again. If they can pick that up. But yeah, no, it was,
Okay, no kidding, you had anxiety.
What's that?
No kidding, you had anxiety.
Oh, yeah, it was like,
because let's tell kind of like the audience the backstory, because you had stage 3.
No, I had stage 4 breast cancer.
That's like no joke.
No joke.
Is there a stage 5 or it's stage 4?
Stage 4.
Okay, I don't know how many stages, but
I know it's.
You're young and you're healthy.
Yeah, and I never wanted to. That's actually probably the first time I vocalized I'm stage 4, because I never wanted to label myself,
right.
Put myself in that, I don't want to say category, but I just knew that if I told so many people, oh, it's stage 4, just so many people look at me differently. And the people that did know, obviously my closest friends and family, I saw such a shift in them and how they, it was almost like they were grieving me.
Right.
And it was so hard to watch because my own inner voice was like, no, you're going to be fine. You're going to, come over this and help others. And like, you're going to be okay. And that was my inner voice from the moment I was diagnosed. And, people might think that's crazy, but I just kind of followed that. And it was my gut instinct that everything would be okay. And I believed it, right? I chose not to believe, stats or what the doctor told me, or, they just handed me pamphlets of this is how long you're going to live. And I was like, no, thank you. No, you don't get to decide that. I decide that for myself. I'll write my own story. Thank you very much. And was on my way. So yeah, crazy to even vocalize that now, because I was diagnosed just over a year ago. So I'm still very much in my healing journey. I'll always be healing. But yeah, I'm
now healing others.
Yes, healing others. And it's great to share my story, when it feels right, because it does give so many people hope. And, I reached for stories like mine when I was diagnosed, and it was the only thing I could really cling on to in that moment. And I was like, you know what? If other people can do it, I can do it. And you just, yeah.
So, okay. So again, you just got this scan.
Yeah.
Then we meet. Then you're on a Reiki table.
Yeah.
I'm hovering in the area. You're freaking out because you haven't gotten the results yet.
Yeah.
And then you hear from me that and like in the back of your head, you're probably like, oh my God, like, what do you feel? Do you still feel that the cancer cells are there? Right? Is that kind of what you were?
Yeah, I feel like that's just a normal fear, right? It's just, obviously I had a lump that I felt go down and down and down. So it was, every morning I'd wake up and like feel myself, because it was like a symbol of the cancer just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
And you could feel every day that it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it was quite crazy. So again, like, when I was first diagnosed, they're like, well, we just don't know how this treatment's going to work for you. It might work, it might not work. And I'm like, oh, it's going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to work just fine. And within 3 months, like I felt that lump, tumor just disappear.
Okay. So tell everyone what you did.
Okay, so this is before I took the Reiki course, but okay, so back it up to when I was diagnosed, I had a really great, she's a nurse patient advocate. Her name's Leslie, and she owns You First Advocacy. And she helped me throughout my whole journey. When I was diagnosed, I was a mess. I was lost. I didn't know, I was just, my world crumbled in front of me. And she introduced me to, body work and healing and, Eastern medicine, combining it with Western medicine. And at first this was all like, what are you talking about? Like, and she helped me discover, to get in my body and to do the healing from within. Right. And so she, I would go to her weekly, and she would do these therapy sessions on me. There were like meditation and Reiki and chakra balancing. And I started to really get into this stuff. So I'm like, wow, this is like working. And I feel great. And, the power of my mind can enhance my healing. So I would visualize, like, I would visualize the cancer in my body, like little Pac-Man, like eating it away. And I would vision like a green meadow in my breast, and I would sit in the bath, and I would like put my hand over my breast and just, and as the months went by, I felt shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And at the time I didn't really even know it, but I was doing Reiki on myself, and I was more just sitting there praying, like, please go away. And one night, and this was before I had a 3-month scan, and I was in the bathtub, and I was over my breast, and I felt something like explode.
Whoa.
It was crazy. And I was like, is this just in my head? No, that's not right. And went over it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I felt something there. And then the next moment there was nothing there.
Oh my gosh, I'm like crying.
It was insane. Like I was just like, no, that just this can't be. And so I told Leslie, my healer, and she's like, yes, that's the cancer going away. And I'm like, really? Like, that's what happens? Like,
yeah. Is that what happens? It feels like it pops? Like,
okay, all right. And so the next day I went for a scan, and then I got results after that. And they're like, yep, nothing's in your breast. I'm like, what? Like, it's gone? They were like, we can't see anything there. I'm like, okay, so what I felt was accurate.
Oh my gosh.
Here I was. I wasn't going to tell my doctor that part because he's going to think I'm just.
Oh, you should have.
Oh no, they're like, yeah, okay, whatever you think, crazy. Right, because they're like, oh, it's all the medicine. It's all the medicine. Oh, the medicine's working. It's doing what it needs to do. But really,
you literally felt a physical
formation
of the.
My doctor was like, I've never seen a tumor shrink this fast.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm meditating, and I'm doing Reiki and this and that. And I listed all the things I was doing. I'm manifesting my.
Can we send him this video after, please?
You won't be surprised. But yeah. And he's like responsive to it, obviously. He's like, oh yeah, okay, cool. But
okay, when you were doing the Reiki, were you like actually touching your breast, or were you like hovering?
I was mix of both. I can't really remember, but mix of both. But funny enough, I was sending myself Reiki.
So everyone can send themselves Reiki.
Yes, you can send yourself Reiki.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
So what is the chakras? Because when we're doing Reiki, we're hovering. Like you could touch the person, but you can do the work like a good foot away with your hand. So what are we really touching or healing? Do you know?
Well, it's that chi energy, right? So from up, down, there's 7 chakras that need to be aligned. And when they're not aligned, that's when disease or illness occurs, right? So when I was first diagnosed, I was like, what are you talking about? Chakras not aligned? Like, this is crazy stuff. And then I just started reading, getting books about all this stuff and reading about it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And different body part, different organs of your body, different body parts represent different emotions, which is really, really cool. Like we hold grief in our lungs, and we hold anger in our liver, and like different body parts, signify something, an emotion in your body. So
do you have a favorite Reiki book?
Not necessarily. The book that we got in our course, that's kind of the only book that I really reference.
Right.
My favorite book, I would say, for healing is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay.
Okay.
And I think I've read it 3 times. The pages are like, I read in the bath, right? The pages are just all crinkled up from the bath.
I know she's an amazing author. I've read some other books from her.
She is. And she actually healed herself from stage 4. I think it was ovarian cancer.
Wow.
Cervical. One of those. Yeah, she fully healed herself without conventional medicine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. So when we did our course and then we had to come back the next weekend for level 2, you came back. Oh, no, back it up. Okay. So Karina's like, you know what it is? I say what it is. You're like, well, I just got my scan. We're waiting results. So in that moment, you were really like asking us, like you asked Karina, you're like, Karina, can you like check in? Like, can you let me know? Because Karina is the master.
Yeah.
So Karina actually kind of took my place and kind of did some extra healing. And she's like, you know what? You're going to be okay. Like so like she gave you that like nice calm validation. Like she went in. She's like, no, I like, remember? She's like,
she's like, you're good. I'm like, okay.
Like, are you sure?
And then the week after, she messages me. She's like, so you're good, right? I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Oh my gosh. And then you came to class, totally different energy. Like,
yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm.
It was so funny because you almost thought that we both knew that you were going through cancer treatment at some
No,
point because your
it's
hair was
so
short.
wild to me now. Like, I think I thought, oh, well, because at that point I was just growing back my hair. It was like a short little buzz cut, right? Which now
No, it was
looking,
like pixie. It was pixie.
yeah, I was like short pixie. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I actually really like that haircut. It was really cute. But at the time, I was so, I was in my head, I was insecure. And I was like, oh, they're going to know. I'm going to walk in with super short hair and they're going to know. And that's so silly now, like looking back.
Like, that was like literally the last thing anyone would
Oh,
have.
I know. And
But to you, no, because you used to have very long hair. I looked
yeah,
at your old Instagram. You had very long hair, and that's a very
yeah,
big shift. Like me,
yeah,
I always had like that short hairdo. So it'd be
yeah,
like, oh, but no, but that's a big transition.
yeah.
Okay, so now you are a healer. You have your level 2.
Mhm.
How has Reiki changed your life other than literally healing you? That's a weird question, but I feel you could answer.
Oh my God, that's great.
Well, I know how it's changed your life already.
Oh, it's totally changed my life. If I didn't, yeah, the course changed my life. Um, it really strengthened my intuition. I think it's just biggest thing is trusting my gut. And I think a lot of people need to just go off that first, um, response that their body tells them, right? And now I'll think about, a question I have for myself or what I need to do. And I'll look at how my body is responding to that. Am I getting nervous? Am I feeling anxious? Well, that's not the right thing to do. Am I feeling excited, joyful, happy? Then that, right? So before I was very much more logical, like thinking just with my head, nope, I need to do this because this is what I need to do. Now it's all, I make every decision internally, which is just the best. Like I just feel so much more happier and alive, and I've never felt better in my life, honestly. So
It's amazing. And your company is Top Knot Parlor.
yes, so we have a boutique salon in Inglewood called Top Knot Parlor, but we originally started as a mobile business called Top Knot Brides. So we're a professional on-site hair and makeup team. And then now we have a space in Inglewood where we host getting ready mornings and we do day-to-day behind the chair, like haircuts, colors, that sort of thing there. And we also have a treatment room at the parlor, which is really cool because we're all about empowered beauty, right? And my whole life, I've been in the beauty industry for 16 years, has been about, outer beauty, everything on the outside, right? And me going through breast cancer was a huge wake up call. It just really awakened me, I guess I should say, about everyone's inner beauty. And marrying those two together is just, yeah, feels really right now. And yeah, so we have a treatment room. We have a therapist in there right now. I do Reiki treatments out of there as well. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you now, after getting your Reiki course, you've now brought Reiki into your salon, your hair
Yeah.
salon, and
Yeah.
you can book your Reiki experience, which will be at Top Knot Parlor in the Reiki room. And yeah, and check out Top Knot Parlor in Inglewood for all your hair needs.
Yeah.
And is there one message that you kind of want to send out there to anybody who's going through something similar that you went through?
Mm, so many things.
I know. Take your time.
Um, oh gosh, so many things. The biggest thing is to stay in your truth.
Mhm.
And so many people, doctors, people told me how it was going to go for me. Um, and I was quite stubborn about it, which looking back is really great because, so many people would sit across from a doctor and believe what they say. And if you believe it, then it will happen. Right. Whereas I was like, no, I'm not, I don't, you're not me. I'll write my own story. And just believing in yourself. I know it sounds so, but really at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself and you have dreams and you want to achieve anything, whether it's overcome an illness or reach a goal of yours, you can do it. You just, yeah, have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're so much beyond our shell.
Oh yeah.
So beyond it. And I love that everyone's becoming more open to different ways of treatment and, checking in with themselves, especially with COVID, that time to, get away from your daily, routine. You wake up, eat, go to work, pick up the kids. Like we were getting so lost in life. We didn't even know who we were anymore. And for everything to stop for us to kind of check in has been like so amazing.
It has. It's been a gift of time.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, obviously, I was dealing with my own stuff. So COVID was just like, I didn't even really, everyone's talking about, a pandemic. And here I am just trying to, get over cancer. Like, I just like, pandemic, that's nothing. Like, you wake up, you have your health. Like, there's so many things to be grateful for. And, yeah, I gained so much perspective, and really the whole COVID thing was a gift of time. And I witnessed so many people like strengthen, so many, so many things about themselves through, being at home and doing things differently and yeah, healing themselves. And I had a lot of people reach out to me last year. They're like, help me. How are you doing it? And yeah.
Just check in with yourselves.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Believe in yourself, check in with yourself, and you can heal yourself, which I think is such a beautiful message.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.